Hello and welcome to Nationwide. I am Olajide Bello. Remember, you can join this broadcast live via our website, nta/live.ng, and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for update. Now we begin with sports update. Now, to set the tone for the discussion, let's have it from Suleiman Musa.
The Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Eno, has called on Sports Federation presidents and their secretaries to focus on podium finishes and work together to overcome challenges ahead of the forthcoming African Games, Olympic and Paralympic later this year. The minister stated this Thursday in Abuja during a one-day technical and interactive meeting with all the federation presidents and their secretaries at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja.
What our aspirations are as federations and as a ministry. What our projections would be in terms of the medals we think that we'll be able to achieve in these games that are coming ahead of us.
In another development, Coach Bankole Olowokere and his technical crew have been retained to lead the Nigeria Under-17 Women National Team again. Olowokere led Nigeria to the first ever podium finish at the Under-17 Women's World Cup in India in 2022 and has been endorsed by NFF to manage the Flamingos once more ahead of the 2024 Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifying tournament. Nigeria will lock on with the Central African Republic in the second round of the qualifiers scheduled for Bangui on the weekend of 2nd and 4th February, while the return leg holds at the MKO Abiola National Stadium, Abuja on Saturday, 10th February. And finally, to tennis, British Emma Raducanu will play American Shelby Rogers when she makes her Grand Slam return at the Australian Open following an 8-month injury layoff. The 21-year-old Briton, who had wrist and ankle surgeries last May, could play British number 1 Katie Botta in the Melbourne 3rd round. The Australian Open, which is the first Grand Slam event of 2024 season, starts at Melbourne Park on Sunday. With sport update, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
And we have live with me in the studio Jacob Oyekale, a sports analyst, to x-ray the Super Eagles' readiness for the 2024 Africa Nations Cup. Now, welcome to Nationwide.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Super Eagles of Nigeria are three-time winners of the Africa Nations Cup, and the 2024 edition slated to kick off in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire this Saturday. Are you confident with the preparations so far?
Well, it's of a mixed feeling. A team is as good as its last result. If you look at the last 3 matches Nigeria have played, it has not really exhumed any level of confidence. But as a Nigerian, we should be optimistic, because looking at the assembly of legs we have in Nigeria, we have very, very, very good players. But as a team, we are yet to really play as a unit.
Okay, there seems to be some injury concerns in the squad, which may have altered the initial plans of the coach. How do you think this is going to affect the psychology of the team?
Well, ideally, right from time, every national team were asked to produce 27 players. From that, I wouldn't know why. Maybe from the coach or from the NFF, there was a blaming game from both parties. The coach accusing the NFF of being the ones responsible for the initial 25-man list, while the NFF said he was responsible for his list. By and large, a 25-man list was released, and from there we had injuries to Wilfred Ndidi, initially Taiwo Awoniyi, and then later Kelechi Iheanacho, who was said to be on his way to recovery, and again Boniface. Now, they had to hurriedly invite some players like Terry Murphy and a couple of others. With that, the coach from Nice gave an option that Terran Murphy will be released late, which is not their fault. Now, this will actually affect the planning and the formation of the team, because if you look at Victor Boniface, he is a key player to the team. Wilfred Ndidi, another fulcrum in the midfield, a key player in the midfield. So these are really major injury concerns for the Eagles, and it will actually affect the team. Taiwo Awoniyi on his part too, another very important player, and we were told just today that Sadiq Umar was not able to train. So an headache for the coaching crew.
Okay, just before I let you go, if you were to advise the technical team, or rather the coach, how should you approach the first match against Equatorial Guinea on Sunday?
Well, no minor again in Africa, and the formation he has been deploying has not really produced any result. So he must, one, come up with a formation that will help the team dominate play and also be creative and compact in the midfield to provide enough passes and support for the attackers to get the goals. In terms of strikers, we parade arrays of strikers that could get goals, but the link-up play between the midfield and the attack had been our major concern, and also the goalkeeping department, another cause for concern. But if that can be solved, we should be home and dry, because Equatorial Guinea are no match. Who are they in the footballing map to Nigeria? Victor Osimhen commands a price tag that can buy the entire team of Equatorial Guinea. You have Lukman Ademola, you have Chukwueze, and even you still have Sadiq Umar in that team, and incoming Terem Murphy, Keleti Henacho. So we have a fearsome attack that could scare the team, but do we have a midfield to provide the needed passes? We must really walk around the midfield and see how Iwobi, Aribo, Onyeka, Onyedika could really come up with the fluidity to help the attack. The defense, it's okay from what we have. These are players that have seen it all in the top league. So the major problem is just the link-up play between the midfield and the attack.
All right. Many thanks, Jacob Oyekala, sports analyst, for your inputs, and we all do hope to see a wonderful performance of our boys in AFCON.
Yeah, we hope so too.
Many thanks for your input.
Thank you.
And away from sports, governors on the platform of the Governing All Progressives Congress, APC, says the renewed hope agenda of the federal government is a national project which would be implemented across board. The decision was reached by the Progressive Governors Forum at the first meeting in the year 2024 after a closed-door session that lasted several hours.
We will continue to support him. We will take his policies to the grassroots, and as subnational leaders of our great party, ensure that our people come on the same page with the thinking of the government, which its primary objective is how to secure the country and provide adequate welfare to the good people of our dear country.
Forum applauds the practical steps taken by the Tinubu's presidency to change the socio-economic and political narratives of the country, and had pledged total support.
Progressive Governors Forum are united in supporting the administration ably led by our ebullient President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR.
For the forthcoming off-cycle elections in Edo and Ondo states, the Progressive Governors Forum says it is ready to engage the people for victory and development of the country. And to the Judiciary, the Supreme Court has reserved judgment on the appeal of the PDP challenging the re-election of Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun. The PDP and its candidates are challenging Dapo Abiodun's re-election on the ground that the Electoral Act 2022 was not adhered to, citing corrupt practices and issue of non-qualification in the conduct of the election. Counsel to the appellant, Chris Uche SAN, alleged that INEC ought to have conducted fresh elections in 99 polling units where elections were cancelled and not declare a winner, saying the return of Governor by INEC was unlawful. Abiodun Owonikoko SAN, counsel to first respondent, INEC asked the Apex Court to dismiss the appeal, maintaining that governorship and presidential elections are not determined only by margin of lead by spread of votes in line with the 1999 Constitution. The National Civil Society Council of Nigeria has commended President Bola Tinubu over measures taken so far in addressing recent national issues in the country. Haman Jabani reports that the council stated its position after an emergency meeting in Abuja.
As the coordinating body of over 500 civil society organizations in Nigeria, the National Civil Society Council of Nigeria serves as the watchdog that deliberates on national issues without limiting itself to the alleged financial misappropriation in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, the financial measures taken by the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Interior, among others.
The civil society community commend the decision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reduce the size of entourage of executives aiming at cutting down the cost of governance. We here call on board the legislature, which is the National Assembly, comprises of the Senate and the House of Rep, and the Judiciary, starting from the Chief Justice of the Federation, to follow suit.
The council believes that the effort put in place by the president towards improving the security and economic welfare of citizens are gradually yielding positive results. The Minister of Interior has proven that there is hope in overcoming the crisis regarding the issue of passports, the decongestion of correctional centers across the country, and the promotion of over 32,000 personnel under the ministry is commendable. The council has this to say concerning the financial misappropriation by the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation.
And the president is highly commended for his swift reactions he has taken. We are aware that the EFCC are doing fantastic well, and the officers, both the civil servants and the political appointee political office holder, are also trying as much as possible to cooperate with the security agencies for us to achieve a better result. We are only alerting the public that the situation that is ongoing should be left to be sustained.
They equally assured government of their support to better the lives of Nigerians and the full achievement of the Renew Hope agenda. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has appointed new executives to oversee the affairs of Union Bank, Keystone Bank and Polaris Bank. This is following the dissolution of the board and management of the bank, as earlier indicated by Director Corporate Communications of CBN, Hakamasidi Ali. The new executives are Yetunde Oni and Manir Ubali Ringim to serve as Managing Director and Executive Director of Union Bank. Hassan Imam and Chioma Mang will serve as Managing Director and Executive Director of Keystone Bank, while Lawa Mudatir Mokayode Aketola and Chris Onyeka Ofekolo will serve as Managing Director and Executive Directors of Polaris Bank. The statement says the appointment takes immediate effect. Now let's join Hingino in Lagos for continuation of Nationwide. Hingino, it's over to you.
Thank you, Olajide. Lagos State Government is set to commence the redesigned and enhanced Renewed Hope Conditional Cash Transfer Initiative of the federal government aimed at tackling poverty among 15 million indigent families and households across the country. To kickstart the program, the federal government has organized a one-day training for Renewed Hope Cash Transfer facilitators across the local government and local council development areas in Lagos. Ese Onwamaka has details.
These 186 conditional cash transfer facilitators, drafted from local governments in Lagos State, have the very tedious task of reaching out to poor and vulnerable households captured in the National Social Safety Register. But with this one-day capacity training to acquaint them with digital gadgets to effectively capture beneficiaries, the task ahead of them is simplified and they are good to go as soon as the Renewed Hope Conditional Cash Transfer is rolled out.
It's going to capture the rural sort of subsidy removal as getting into so that they will receive succor from government.
There are some people that they don't have account. We will now recapture them and we use their name or BVN to register them.
More than 283,000 beneficiaries across the 57 local governments and local council development areas will be given 25,000 naira for 3 months to cushion the effect of the economic challenges.
The current administration now decided to sustain and take it forward in such that they have even increased the number from the 2 million beneficiaries that we did under NAPS in 2016 to 2022 to 15 million.
This is the way the federal government can reach out to the poor of the poorest, to reach out to them. And this fund will go a long way from moving in from about 60-something thousand to 208,000. It's a whole lot.
We selected them based on the criteria that they are OND and they must have been in the community, working in the community for years, and they are quite familiar with the terrain.
The Renewed Hope National Conditional Cash Transfer is expected to raise the economic status of 15 million families and households in the 774 local governments across the country. In Lagos, Esther Owamaka, NTA News.
With its status of Africa's 5th single largest economy, road infrastructure remains a catalyst for economic development of Lagos in order to facilitate trade and ease commuting of its close to 20 million population. Year 2023 was an opportunity to expand the infrastructural scope of the megacity with the rehabilitation of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Third Mainland Bridge and other critical roads top on the priority list. Joel Pupola in this report captures the infrastructure development in Lagos in year 2023.
Lagos, the commercial nerve center of Nigeria, is home to over 20 million people. Road infrastructure plays a pivotal role in sustaining the development of the center of excellence. With road infrastructure being one of the teething problems of the state, the federal government is constantly evolving means of addressing it. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is one of the busiest interstate routes, known for heavy vehicular movement. The gridlock occasioned by the construction is in tandem with the popular saying, "No pain, no gain," especially when the project was approaching the critical stage.
Of course, government is working, the roads are being improved, but the traffic is still very tight.
Vehicular movement became a jolly good ride on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, but the Minister of Works, David Umahi, determined to change the unwanted narrative with regular inspection.
98% done. This section 1 of Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, section 1 being done by Jinopeja, section 2 is being done by RUCC. That one could be said to be 95% because the carriageway express is said to be up to 100% done.
One of the core objectives of the current administration in terms of infrastructure is to ensure that bridges are in good shape and pass integrity tests. Lagosians are hoping that Apapa Expressway and the Lagos-Badagry Road project will be given attention in the new year. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
That's it from here. Nationwide continues after this break.
Thanks for being there. Now, after a series of palliative repairs, the Third Mainland Bridge is now undergoing a complete overhaul that would guarantee its integrity. Joel Popola reports, while the closure is expected to last 4 months, Lagosians want speedy completion in view of the gridlock and other hardships they may have to endure.
The 11.8-kilometer Third Mainland Bridge, which was opened in 1990, stretches from Oworonshoki and terminates at Adeniji. It has undergone a series of maintenance work to cope with the pressure of huge vehicular movements, being the fastest connection route between the island and the mainland. The scope of the comprehensive repair includes complete change of asphalt, replacement of parapets, guardrails and other key components that are germane to each free vehicular movement.
A lot of enlightenment has gone on in the radios, on the tellies, everywhere is aware. So let's plan ourselves. If we plan ourselves, we won't have to go and clog a point.
Assessing the Third Mainland Bridge for the next 4 months is expected to be an uphill task for motorists in view of the inconvenience of the gridlock. Motorists, no doubt, are prepared for the task ahead, but traffic managers are expected to be on top of their game.
The odors is very hectic, and but with time it will be fine and okay.
The completion of the 4 ramps connecting Adekunle has eased movement along that axis, and this experience will be replicated once maintenance work is completed on the main deck of the 3rd mainland bridge. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
Now let's join Adeola Komiakere for a live update on maintenance work on the 3rd mainland bridge and how motorists are coping with the closure. Adeola, can you keep us up to speed?
Well, thank you, Olajide. I am on the 3rd mainland bridge, and there's no doubt that motorists are trying very hard to find their way from mainland to the island and vice versa. And just behind me, you can see the workers. They have finished scraping out the first layer, the asphalted layer, the old one that was on this part of the bridge from Adenle up to like 700 meters. And what you're seeing right behind me is the sweeper trying to clear the debris completely from the area they have scraped off the asphalt. I spoke with an engineer before now, and he said that once they are done packing the debris from this portion that they have scraped, they'll lay the asphalt and continue, like that until they get to Oworoshoki. This bridge, no doubt, is a very important bridge here in Lagos because it connects Lagos mainland to Lagos Island. And if we can see just in front of me, it's getting to the rush hour. You'll see the volume of vehicles already plying, trying to beat the rush hour. In the next 10-15 minutes, I can assure you that this road will be completely blocked. Now we are seeing vehicles moving here. You can now imagine how Eko Bridge will be right now on Funshaw Williams, because where I'm standing at the moment, there is no movement of vehicle. It took us about 3 hours to get to the spot, navigating Victoria Island, because we had to stop a crew somewhere at Bagada just to get to this spot. Now, Lagosians, although they are grounding, we know that at the end of the day, they will enjoy a free motor ride, because we know that for any economy to develop, distribution and consumption must increase. And it is an obvious fact that without good road network, that cannot be. So far, you're seeing the machine scraping the ground, and they're working. It is from like 5 a.m. till 7:30 before these workers will leave the bridge at this time. And the appeal that's gone out is for Lagosians to please bear with the government for them to finish this job. And once they get to Oworoshoki, way down the end, which is the 11.8 kilometer of this bridge, they will switch over. The same diversion that happened on this lane will now take place on that other lane, while this exact lane I'm standing on at the moment will be open to motorists, and that will be maybe from the night week, because this is the first week.
Thanks, Adeola, there for keeping us up to speed, and we do hope the contractors, abide by the 4 months projection for completion of works there. Many thanks, Adeola, for your input.
And another thing, Olajide, if you can hear me, this work taking place...
We'll be able to take, Adeola, I know you have loads of information. Many thanks for your input, Adeola. Thank you very much. The Federal Ministry of Work says it has adopted proactive inspection strategies to fast-track the execution of quality road projects across the country. The Federal Controller of Works in Ekiti State, Abdulrazak Aronsiola, said this while inspecting works on the ongoing 21.2-kilometer road linking Ekiti and Ondo State. Olukemi Soni has details.
The first section of the road project on the Ondo side was awarded to 2 construction companies at the cost of 46.6 billion naira just as the remaining 49.2 billion naira will be used for the second section of the project from the Ekiti state border. The federal government is said to have mobilized the contractors to site, and construction work is progressing steadily on the project. Some motorists who emphasized that many federal roads in the state had in the past either deteriorated or received inadequate maintenance commended federal government intervention on the road project.
It has even assisted us with that we are walking through this road. The journey has been becoming easier in compared to the past.
The bad road is very bad. People are complaining every time. So if they finish it up, I know people, most of people will be passing here.
Now that the federal government is making provisions for good roads in Ekiti State, it will open Ekiti State to more opportunities.
It's meeting the standard of the Federal Ministry of Works. It's meeting our specification. We have a specification and a standard, and they are working according to that specification and according to this standard.
Other ongoing federal road projects in Ekiti State include the 56-kilometer Ado-Igede Aramoko Itawure Esaoke Junction Road in Ado-Ekiti, Olukemi, Sani, NTA News.
River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has pledged commitment to the completion of the Igbedo Road in a local government area linking Imo State to ease the difficulties faced by travelers. The governor, who expressed concern over the deplorable state of the road, gave the assurance when he paid an unscheduled visit to the area. Osinachi Samuel has details.
Section of the Wodo Road, which is about 3 kilometers, was initially exempted from the earlier construction of the Wodo Eche Road, making trips to Okpala and its environs difficult for commuters. This will soon be over, as Governor Fubara has promised to commence construction on that section of the road. Governor Fubara drove through the entire stretch of the bad section of Okpala community of Imo State to assess the state of the bad section and the level of work that would be required. He notes that the immediate past administration did a great job when it reconstructed the Iwodo Road, hence the need to do justice to the remaining section.
We as a government will see what we can do immediately to complete this section so that there will be very easy traffic along this route.
Already, the state government has made provision for infrastructural development as it received the highest share in the 2024 state budget. From Iwodo community in Eche local government area of River State, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
And let's join Mohammed in Kaduna for more on Nationwide. Mohammed.
Very much for joining us in Kaduna. More than 31,000 candidates in Kaduna State who applied to join the Nigerian police force have been assured of a level playing field in the selection process. Adamu Sunday, who visited the venue of the screening, reports that the exercise is going on without hitches.
Nigerian Police College Kaduna is agog with applicants seeking to get enlisted into the force. As part of criteria in the selection of candidates, the applicants are subjected to physical screening before the screening of their credentials to validate most of the claims they made during the application process.
If we do this yearly as much as possible, anyone who shows interest, who genuinely has the interest to serve Nigeria in the capacity of a policeman or policewoman, we are assuring that by the special grace of God, we're going to mop them up as much as possible so that those who come in are those who genuinely have the interest to serve.
Priscilla and Andrew and other prospective applicants speak on the reason they want to join the Nigerian police force.
I come from a poor background. I would like to help my parents and build house for my family.
I want to join the Nigerian police because I have passion for it.
If I'm lucky to be one of the Nigerian police force, I will try my possible best to save properties, to save life of the citizens of Nigeria.
The screening paves the way for businesses to thrive, with vendors selling their wares. Olaika Shuaga, who sells Waek and Neko cards, and Nasu Jibril, a photographer, are taking advantage of the exercise to make money.
By the end, I should be able to boost my capital base by 40 to 50%.
We are expecting more profit by the grace of God because the exercise is going gradually.
No favoritism, no tribalism, no religious bias. all candidates are given equal footing in this exercise.
After the physical and screening of credentials, the applicants will go for aptitude tests. The successful ones among them will undertake the medical screening before the final selection and subsequently the training. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
The term hate speech is receiving global attention, primarily because of the risks it possesses to almost every sector of the society. To mitigate the unabated phenomenon, a one-day community development peace program was put together in Kano State, where stakeholders preach for peace. Muhammad Ibrahim reports.
Nations worldwide have grappled with enormous problems of hate speech, which is predominantly perpetrated through new media. In Nigeria, this disturbing trend calls for ways to curb hate speech because of its relative freedom from absolute government control. It is in light of this, various religious, security, and traditional stakeholders gathered to profile ways to mitigate hate speech both online and offline. They advocate against hate speech and reiterated their commitment towards promoting peace.
Hate speeches have done a very great damages and have started touching our red lines into our national being. The community policing initiatives and strategies is one of the yardstick he has proud to the government, from the government rather, to the community, so that we will now come to the community to fight in all these hate speeches and other sundry offenses and criminalities.
The one-day peace program themed hate speech as a trigger for conflict in Sabongari area of Kano State, Nigeria, causes, effect, and mitigation strategies concludes by calling on relevant authorities to promote media ethnic regulations, interfaith and intercultural dialogues, as well as conflict-sensitive training. In Kano, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
And that's our contributions from Kaduna back to Olajide Bello in Abuja for the continuation of NTA News nationwide.
Many thanks, Mohammed, for your contributions from that zone. Recently, the Zamfara State government launched the distribution of essential farm inputs and agricultural assets to farmers in the state for the 2023-2024 dry season farming. Correspondent Jamil Ibrahim reports on this program, which is geared towards enhancing agricultural production in the state.
The provision of fertilizer and other farm inputs such as seeds, insecticides and herbicides to farmers in Zamfara State is in furtherance of the implementation of the Result Area 2 of the NG Cares program in the state. Governor Dauda Lawal, who flagged up the program under the State Fadama 3 project, said it is in line with his administration's commitment to revive agriculture for self-reliance and food sufficiency.
Our objective is to improve the productivity of 11,760 farmers directly by providing them with vital inputs. We plan to construct 70-kilometer feeder roads and build 40 new markets, which will comprise 4,000 shops.
Also procured under the program are power tillage machines as well as more than 7,600 goods for distribution to women across the state.
More than 35% of these farmers are between the age of 18 and 35. That means if we continue in this trajectory, we are going to have future farmers that can feed Nigeria and West Africa at large. In each of the selected commodity markets, the following infrastructure shall be provided: rehabilitation of market blocks and VIP toilets, water supply, drainage and wash materials.
Similar event was held in Shinkafi, Women's Afe towns, representing Zamfara North, West and Central Senatorial districts respectively. The benefiting farmers could not hide their joy for the support, as they expressed confidence that it will go a long way in reviving and boosting agricultural production in the state. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Now let's join Jamilu Ibrahim live in Gusau to speak more on the distribution of the essential farm inputs to dry season farmers in Zamfara State. Hello, Jamilu.
Thank you, Olajide. We are live in Gusau. I'm currently standing at the headquarters of Zamfara State Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, where Governor Dauda Lawal officially launched the distribution of the farm inputs to dry season farmers at the state level. After which the governor also went to 3 senatorial districts of the state where he flagged up the distribution of the farm inputs to the benefiting farmers there. The place is still beehive of activities. As you can see, there are trailers that these farm inputs have been uploaded on for them to be transported to different local government areas of the state. And currently, most of the local government areas of the state have already received their allocations, and distribution of the commodities ongoing currently now. Specifically, the benefiting farmers are those of wheat, rice and maize. These are the benefiting farmers in all the 147 wards across the 40 local government areas of the state. And the farm inputs are being distributed to the farmers free of charge.
Response like from farmers and experts in the state about the program. How are they seeing this initiative, and how will it enhance production, especially in the hitherto, insecurity ridden areas?
Well, Olajide, as you are aware, farming is our pride, is the slogan of Zamfara. But over the years, due to the issue of insecurity, the farming activities have been seriously hampered in different parts of the state. But with the return of relative peace in many parts of the state, the farmers we interviewed and indeed some agricultural experts are confident that if the current security situation continues to improve, this program will go a long way in reviving and boosting agricultural production in the state, so that in no distant future, Zamfara State will reclaim its lost glory in the agricultural sector.
Many thanks, Jamilu Ibrahim in Gusau, for your input on the ongoing distribution of essential farm inputs for dry season farming.
Thank you, Olajide.
All right, moving on. Troops of the Nigerian military have arrested suspected extremists and kidnappers in the Buhari Area Council of Abuja and Tafar in Niger State. The Director of Defense and Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, announced this at the periodic news conference for updates of ongoing military operations across the country.
For the reports that have come concerning the FCT environs, as I speak to you, operations are ongoing at those locations. In the last 1 week, we have arrested several of them, and they are providing intelligence to support our operations.
Details indicate that 40 kidnapped victims were rescued, 49 terrorists eliminated in combat, while 111 arrested in the last 7 days.
So some people want that mineral, and to get that mineral, what do? They want to displace the community who is there. It's everybody's business. On the Kaduna-Abuja highway, where terrorists were going to cross the road and they were effectively engaged by troops. Unfortunately, some civilians were caught up in the crossfire. We were after them and they couldn't remain where they were, so they had to move out. And in the process, we still had to engage them. We cannot leave them. We have to destroy them.
Similarly, troops have arrested 30 oil smugglers, destroyed 60 illegal refining sites, 65 local boats and 71 illegal storage tanks. You're still watching Nationwide. Another break back and the news continues shortly. Many thanks for being there. Now let's join Asmao in Sokoto. Asmao, it's over to you. Mao, it's over to you.
Good evening and welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. Operation Connect Your Destination, launched by Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, has started yielding fruits with the repair of potholes on some major roads in Sokoto. Dalhatu Abdullahi reports that the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency is working hard to ensure zero potholes in the interest of socio-economic development in the country.
The core mandate of Federal Roads Maintenance Agency is to effectively and efficiently monitor as well as administer roads maintenance to keep Nigerian roads safe and in good condition for motorists flying the nation's highways. In Sokoto State, under the program, FEMA was able to construct box culverts along Sokoto-Ilela Road at Dogon Karfe, repair and maintenance of potholes along Sokoto-Goronyo-Sabon Birni Road to Birijengo. The agency has ensured the silting of lined drain and carriageways verges in vegetation control along Sokoto-Shagali-Kebe border road to ensure free flow of traffic. Managing Director, Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, Engineer Chukwuemeka Agbasi, represented, he said FEMA is determined to ensure zero potholes along the nation's highways.
This is a program carried out or going to be carried out by engineers, and you can see them on the road.
In 2024, other federal roads with potholes will be attended to.
Part of the management commitment to make the roads, all the roads in Nigeria, motorable.
Some motorists plying the repaired roads commended federal government for ensuring prompt and early maintenance work along federal roads. On a similar inspection visit to Kebbi State, the team was conducted around federal roads by FEMA engineer Rilwanu Usman. The Operation Connect Your Destination is currently ongoing across the country. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has launched the issuance of digital certificate of occupancy to land and landed property owners in the state. This is part of an effort to sanitize the process of obtaining the certificate for improved security and revenue generation. Correspondent Jamilu Ibrahim reports.
The long-awaited issuance of digital certificate of occupancy by the Zamfara State Geographic Information Service has now become a reality with the signing of the first set of the printed certificates by Governor Dauda Lawal. And this is the first set of the successful applicants to receive the digital CFO from the governor.
I'm very, very happy and excited that we're having this certificate.
He's doing a good work. The steps he's taking now will take Zamfara State to greater heights.
The governor, who underscored the significance of the innovation to land administration in the state, said it has made the process very efficient and effective, as well as eliminated fraud that characterized the old system.
If I have 1,000 certificates today, be rest assured I will send them today. Because that is the way forward.
The Executive Secretary Zagis Abubakar Muhammad Wafara applauded the governor for providing an enabling environment for the agency to operate in line with the international-based practice.
I want to assure our esteemed applicants and the general public that are willing to apply for certificate of occupancy that the present administration have the political will. And Zagis is now well equipped with modern equipment and gadgets so that they should come forward and register their properties.
The event marks the commencement of the issuance of the new digital certificate of occupancy for the successful applicants in the state capital Gusau, and the innovation is built to cover all other local government areas of the state in due course. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Olajide in Abuja for the continuation of the news.
Many thanks, Asmao. And moving on. The Sultan of Sokoto and President General of Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, has asked Muslims to look for the new moon of Rajab on Friday, 12th January 2024. Professor Sambo Wali Junaidi, Chairman of Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, on behalf of the Sultanate Council, Sokoto, says Friday is the 29th of Jumada Thani 1445 AH and the day to look for the new moon. The sighting of the new moon should be reported to the nearest district or village head or onward communication to the Sultan. The Nigerian Armed Forces, both serving and retired, have expressed readiness to continue contributing their quota towards sustaining the nation's legacy of one united, indivisible country working towards achieving honor in the Committee of Nations. This came to the fore during an interface between management of NTA Maiduguri Network Center and officials of Borno State Chapter of the Nigerian Legion. Pauline Kujevana was there and our reports.
These are management staff of NTA Maiduguri Zonal Center being decorated with the Armed Forces Remembrance emblem. The Zonal Director, Mohammed Abubakar, underscores the sacrificial role of the Nigerian armed forces in safeguarding the indivisibility of Nigeria and their recent sacrifices in confronting Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast.
Anybody with fair knowledge of Nigeria's history as a nation will know that the armed forces have struggled very, very, very hard to keep Nigeria one.
Chairman, Borno State Chapter of the Nigerian Legion, Colonel Williams Mamza, retired, observed with gratitude the support of the Nigerian Television Authority towards the Nigerian Legion, especially by availing them of needed publicity to all their functions.
With the emblem appeal week of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day 2024, for your well performance in the coverage of all our activities in the Nigerian Legion. We are very grateful.
He used the forum to applaud Borno State government and all stakeholders in the state for identifying with members and families of the Nigerian Legion. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.